Okay, here we are. We're back. Yeah, the red seems to show up a little bit better, so I think we're going to focus on red.
Okay. So for fading in and out, if we have like a slow fade or a very slow fade here, that's about as slow as you can get it. If you do that, you want it to fade all the way out before you fade back in. If you hit the fade button halfway in between in and out, then when you hit it again, it's going to continue in the same direction it was going before. So it's always cycling between all the way on and all the way off, or somewhere in between. If you stop in between, you need to continue to fade in and out until you get to the end, where it will stop, and then you can hit the button. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Once we've set, and I want a quick, so that's a quick fade in and out now. For strobing, if you are not in strobe mode, the rate control has no effect on the strobe rate. It is only changing the fade rate. Okay. Once you go into strobe mode, now you can set the strobe rate. Very slow strobe, and it's keeping the fade rate that you had before. So you can program a fast fade and then a slow strobe, or a slow fade and a slow strobe, or whatever you want. If we go to a fast strobe, it will strobe as fast as it can do while keeping the fade rate you had. So it's always going to be limited by the fade rate. If you have a slow fade and you try to strobe it fast, it's only going to strobe as fast as it can within the limits of the fade rate. But it will continue. It's basically, you can think of the strobe button as something like an auto fade in and out, where it's just going to keep doing that. But it has its own rate setting. If you want to hit random color at any time, you just hit the button. The random will always change both eyes the same. Whereas if you want to program different eyes to do different things, you can enable or disable one or another to do that. Let me show you how you do that. So I'm going to take it out of strobe, go into something that's a bright purple here. If I want to make one of the eyes fade out and leave the other one on, then I'm going to disable the eye that I want to stay doing the same thing. And I'm going to hit the fade button, and now it's only going to fade out the eye that's still enabled. Okay, if I re-enable it, once I re-enable the eye, it will jump to the setting that the other eye is in. So if it's faded out, then it's going to quickly fade that one out as well. But now I can bring them both back up with the fade button. So let me set that to a quicker fade. Once you start fading things at a particular speed, it will continue to fade at that rate until it's done. So if you want to change the fade rate, you need to do it when you're not hitting the fade button. That's one limitation, where we're trying to use the one rate control for two different kinds of speeds here. So so that's the limitation on the rate control, is that you only change the rate for the strobe when strobe is enabled. You only change the rate for fade when you hit the fade button. So you could tap that in advance, and then hit your fade button, where you're just going to know, okay, I want, you know, a quick fade here, so I'm going to hit that, and then it's going to give me a quick fade. Okay. If I want it to come back in slowly, then I'm going to hit it down here, and it's going to come in more slowly. Okay, so that gives you an overview of the function buttons for fade, for strobe, random colors, and enabling and disabling the individual eyes. If you want to recall anything from memory,
We're at 4:35.
Okay.
Let's do this on a next video.
Okay.